I got a fun little visual to start with. I want you guys to start this. I just threw this in. So I had a great weekend this weekend down the Dells learning about wellness from one of the world's wellness experts. He's phenomenal. So the analogy that he put forward, I think, is an amazing one that I think we can all burn into our heads, because a lot of what people think with health is, I can't help it. I got dealt a bad hand because my parents and grandparents had problems, so I guess I'm going to have these problems. But the fact is, I want you to just kind of picture yourself that you are born into this world in a swimming pool with those little yellow floaty wings on, right? Keeping you upright, floating in the water, right? It's a fun little visual. And there's a teeny tiny little pinprick in the floaty that's going to approximately take 120 years for the air to go out, and at which point you're going to sink. All right? Because genetically, that's how long we should actually be able to live. 120 years. Wow. How many people do that? Not a lot right now, unfortunately. So, we're also born with a backpack on. And in that backpack goes things that basically we are toxic in something or deficient in something else, and basically it's a rock that goes in your backpack. So every time you eat something that we shouldn't eat, you just add this rock to your backpack. Maybe you're stressed out, angry, you add another rock. We'll talk about tonight, maybe you didn't move enough. Maybe we didn't exercise. That could be another rock to your backpack. And essentially, that 120 years might come at 50 years or 60 years for some people because of the amount of rocks they put in their backpack over the years and accelerated the level that they sank. So, tonight we're going to talk about moving and how exercise can be a way that we can remove some of those rocks from our backpacks and help make sure that we can all float along for the next 120 years. That sounds way more fun, right? All right. Dr. Becker, is there a ring music on back there? To that. What's that? Only if the mind's working. Well, that's true. And here's the main thing. We'll talk about that. That's a good thing. Because a lot of people say, well, great, I'm going to live to be 90 and I spent the last 30 years not knowing who I am or where I came from. I'm with you. Take me all back. But the good news is, what we're going to be talking about tonight will actually help to ensure that your brain is going to be alive and well for that time as well. All right. So let's get started. Now, once I get the video turned on, outstanding. So what's the goals tonight? The goals tonight, I want you to be healthy. Yes. We want to make sure that you can learn how exercise can actually be fun. The big thing about people is like, I just don't know what I should do. And part of you know what? There's going to be a lot of great options that will allow you to start exercising in a way that no matter what your schedule is like, you could work 100 hours a week and I will still show you things that you can do that will allow you to exercise. All right, that's pretty cool. Big thing is not getting hurt. One of the biggest things that people can keep on exercising is like, oh, I sprained my ankle, I got a bad hip, and now I can't exercise anymore because I was trying to be healthy and exercise. And all of a sudden, it can be another rock in your backpack maybe as well. And by exercising, we're going to improve your quality of life. So, here's a little visual I want you to think about as we think about sitting in that nursing home. Where do we see ourselves? Most people say, oh, I'm going to save up for retirement. I'm going to have enough money so I can travel and lay on a beach and do whatever the heck I want, but not work. But how about having a body that you can retire with? And that's the one thing that most people don't maybe think long-term with their health. Great with investing maybe, so I can have enough money, but what's your body going to be like? Are you going to be able to spend retirement in the top picture or in the bottom picture? And I sure like the idea of the bottom picture, right? No matter where you're at, you can still get healthier as well. That seems pretty cool. And a big thing I want to emphasize tonight, don't feel guilty about where you're at right now. You say, oh, I'm 50 years old, I have not exercised in 30 years. Great, we're going to start today, all right? We're going to start changing things now. So don't beat yourself up. Guilt is a very negative emotion. Another rock in your backpack. So we're going to just move forward and say, you know what? Starting today, I'm going to make my life amazing and not feel guilty about what I've done up to this point, okay? Regardless of where you're at, I'm going to teach you things you can do if you don't exercise at all. If you like to, but you say I can't find the time, some are bored. Anybody get bored with exercise? There you go. Good. Okay. We'll find ways to make it fun. All right. Same thing if people getting injured. I said a conversation with a young man, college athlete, got hurt, surgery. He's just not be able to exercise. We started going over some of these things already. And a little big one here. Those of you already doing it, and even if you're an elite athlete in here, there's a few of you I know hiding in that body. There's an elite athlete. We're going to teach you how you can even make it better. So, I gave you the first answer. Why do most people not exercise? At least that's what we say. Time, right? I don't have time to exercise. Anyone else have an honest explanation why we do not exercise? Lazy. Thank you. That's probably a very honest answer and potentially maybe the most accurate. I'm like, yeah, that's probably me. All right. Anyone else? Why we don't?
Tired.
Say that again.
Tired.
Tired. Excellent answer. I think that might be up on the list. Come on. Is it? Oh, there it is. Lack of energy. Yes. Good news is we'll learn how to actually exercise. We'll give you more energy. And yes, there we go. So lots of those things that we're going to talk about that you guys all did. So why should we be exercising? Just because we all want to look good at the beach?
It relieves stress.
That's a great, great answer. And it's exactly one of the main things that we're going to be talking about, why we need to exercise. You are exactly correct. Anyone else?
Energy.
Energy. Amazingly.
How about flexibility?
Ooh, that'd be good too. Some people can't touch their knees anymore, let alone touch their toes. Those are all things we're talking about. So we want to be healthy. We want to have actually our ideal weight. We don't want to be feeling like a slug, right, sitting on the couch, but having lean muscle. The two biggest things that happen as we age, loss of lean muscle, loss of balance, and we'll talk about that as we go, okay, later on towards the end. But we certainly know about those people. By exercising, it's going to allow us to keep maintaining that active lifestyle that we want to have when we get to retirement, even though we may have the money not going to have that. Preventing disease and reducing stress hormones. That one is probably going to be one of the big things that are going to be overriding theme tonight, is understanding hormones. All right? Some of you are like, I understand hormones all too well. Well, we're going to find out how to balance those out, all right? Now, this is my definitions of, and this is, bear with me here, because this isn't the most exciting part, but it'll help set the stage for stuff later on. Because there's a few words that I'm going to be using as we go that will help you understand what I'm talking about. First off, health. Just because we don't hurt doesn't mean we're healthy. Actually, according to the World Health Organization, health is a state of optimal physical, mental, and social well-being, not just the fact that you're not sick. Not just the absence of disease does not automatically make you healthy. But optimal function is what we're striving for. Exercise is something that actually is causing you to adapt to get you stronger. A lot of people, when we talk about this, a lot of people think, well, I walk. Walking is good. Walking is movement. But it's not enough to actually force your body to adapt, to actually make you stronger. Exercise basically has to be something that challenges you to the point that you're like, I gotta get a little bit better so I can do this again tomorrow, okay? Walking and just moving, those type of things aren't quite gonna be enough. But the big thing is we wanna make sure is that we're not trying to get fit, but undermining our health because we're getting injured. Movement, walking, movement of the body. We'll teach you some things you could even do at work and get paid for it. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Fitness, this is one thing I think a lot of people are striving for. But this is basically the point where you can adapt to whatever life throws at you. Now you are physically fit. How many of you say, go up, let's go out and run a mile? You say, holy smokes, I can't run a mile. That's a scary thought, right? So, maybe we gotta work on doing something like that. So we can even do something as simple as running a mile, which we should have been able to do when we were 8 years old. You could do it backwards, right? Now here's a couple of the big words we're talking about. Catabolic. Some of the things that we do tear us down, and that's what catabolic means. Basically, it's something that's actually tearing your body down. Exercise, inherently, is actually catabolic in nature. It's starting to tear you down, so it'll build you up and make you stronger. But certain types of exercise can actually be catabolic and not build you up as well. But basically, it's a breakdown of your body. It's something that's catabolic in nature. On the flip side, something is anabolic. It's building you up. Now, we're going to teach you how to do it naturally, without injecting yourself like the baseball players have done, right? So they can hit 50 or 60 home runs. But basically something that's anabolic, and we'll talk about natural anabolic hormones, are going to actually help to build you up and help your body grow. Cortisol is one of those catabolic hormones. It actually tears your body down. It's a stress hormone. We've all heard of the fat hormone. That's cortisol, okay? But cortisol is one of the most damaging hormones that is released in your body, and unfortunately oftentimes on a daily basis. Something that was designed to save your life in a fight or flight situation is oftentimes perpetually released in your body day in and day out because of how we move or don't move, how we think even can actually affect that, okay? It's going to affect everything from weakened immune system, decreased digestion, tight muscles, low energy, lack of sleep, memory, focus, you name it. But here's the good news. There's the reverse of cortisol, and it's actually called human growth hormone, HGH. Naturally, you can produce this by how we move. Human growth hormone is the youth hormone. Who would like to get younger? Yes, right? If nothing else, feel younger. Well, that'd be a good thing, right? We don't want to age any quicker than we have to, okay? Once we understand that, now we can talk about this. So, our bodies are made to move all day. Some of you might not think that's possible, but ultimately, we are made to be able to move all day long. In fact, our body needs it to actually stay alive and well. Movement of the body actually stimulates your brain, and we talked about that. And I'm going to get ahead of myself a little bit, but I actually want to explain this a little bit more. Any movement in your body is basically what we call a positive body thought. Okay? Also called proprioception. That's a fun word, just rolls off the tongue, right? Proprioception is a positive body thought that your body sends to your brain when we move. Okay? 90% of those little nerve receptors for movement are actually in your spine. 10% are in the rest of your joints. Okay? 50% of your actual spinal cord is stimulated simply through movement. When we move, we are actually stimulating our brain through the process of proprioception. You're getting a positive brain message because of movement, a positive body thought. And so that's what we are required to move. That's why when you sit all day, you feel exhausted. You expended about 6 calories sitting at your computer, and yet you have no energy because you were actually sending a negative body thought causing your energy to go down. That's called nociception. We'll talk about this later on. So, I just want to get that all the way a little bit so you can understand that stimulation and motion in the spine is going to drive your brain. And some of the studies even showing on kids learning, what do you think of all these kids with ADD and ADHD? Well, they just can't sit still, they can't focus. Because they need to move. They're trying to stimulate their brain. So that's one of the best things we can do for ourselves is by moving, we're stimulating our brain. Your brain's going to grow. Who would have thought our brain could still get bigger? How cool is that? We'll talk. That's going to help with spinal health. We'll talk about that a little later. And talk about those mechanoreceptors. That's the proprioceptors and nociceptors. But a big thing is, once again, movement, any movement, decreases stress hormones. Cortisol goes down through any kind of movement. All right? Now, here's some amazing statistics. Just in the last month, some of the studies have come out showing that, you know what the new smoking is? Sitting. Sitting for 2 hours is the equivalent of smoking 1 cigarette. At least the effect it's having on our body. That's a little bit of a sobering statistic. You just have never in my life, I've never smoked a cigarette, but yet you're doing this every day by sitting. Okay? Because we're actually sitting is stimulating stress hormones, that lack of movement. And the studies go on to show basically that, shockingly, people who sit more than 23 hours a week, they die at an earlier age. 5 years on average, according to statistics, okay? Other studies showing that sitting in front of the TV more than 6 hours, once again, 5 years shorter life. Yikes. Hopefully it was a good show, right? Because you just knocked 5 years off, all right? So when we look at this now, where does this information come from? Basically, by studying Wisconsinites, Americans, maybe not the healthiest people ever walk, but actually who are the healthiest people ever walk the face of the earth? What we refer to as hunters and gatherers. There are still pockets of these people that live in Australia and in the jungles of South America. And these people have no chronic diseases. They have no heart disease, cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis, depression, acne, you name it. Any basically chronic disease that we have doesn't exist in these populations. So what do we need to do? Study these people and see what they do. What do they do differently than we do? Well, basically, these people, and we talked about in our Eat Well workshop, so I'll give you a summary. Basically, these people eat meat, vegetables, fruit, nuts, and seeds. That's about it. So that's what a hunter-gatherer eats. And I didn't say Big Mac or donuts or anything like that. Okay? But those things. Basically referred to as a Paleolithic diet. But also, then, how do these people move? Well, these people, they moved all day long. Okay, and I had a good time watching a documentary here a couple of months ago, actually watching these people living in South America. What did they do? They moved all day long. They didn't sit. They never stopped moving. They were constantly searching for something, or they were building something, or making something. So they moved all day long, stimulating their brain, their nervous system, no stress. They also occasionally had to sprint to get away from a tiger or a jaguar or climb a tree, right? So they sprinted occasionally and then they lifted heavy things occasionally as well. Now, good news is the heavy thing could be our own body. Maybe to climb a tree, that'd be lifting something heavy. So I see smirks in here. Yes, our bodies can be heavy sometimes, but we need to lift some things. So once again, people say, well, I walk, I exercise. Your muscles aren't getting stronger by just walking, okay? That's great, we need to move it, but we need to also do some things that require lifting. So here's I love this picture, all right? Let's just take a moment to look at this. Who would you rather look like? The top group of athletes or the bottom group of athletes? What do you think? You take any of them. Good answer. Concur. What if we could choose who looks healthier in your mind? The top. They look strong. They look healthy. They look vibrant. Well, guess what these people are? They're sprinters. Olympic sprinters. On the bottom, we have Olympic endurance athletes. They look a little different, right? Different body shape, different body type. Who's going to be able to fight off a tiger? They might be able to run for a long time, but eventually they may be going to get caught. So we're going to talk a little bit now on why these people may have different body types and how one type might not be that good for us, or the other type is going to make you extremely healthy. Okay? So we're going to talk about the case against cardio. Whoa. This sounds a little crazy, right? A little counterintuitive. How many of you love to run? Go for a long run. One weird person here, thanks. All right, so appreciate the volunteer. Okay, good. Good news is you don't ever have to go for a jog ever again. That's pretty cool. All right, yay. Worth coming tonight just to know you don't have to jog anymore, okay? Why would that be? Let's look at the statistics, okay? What does cardio actually do? And let me just define cardio. Basically, when people think of cardio, we're probably thinking of like, and close to an hour probably of 70% our max heart rate. That's a definition of basically cardio exercise. A long period of a somewhat high level, but not as hard as you could possibly go. So what actually is physiologically happening to your body during a long period of cardio? And think back once again. Do you think it would make sense for the hunter and gatherer to just say, you know what, let's just go for a jog. I don't know what I'm going to eat next, but I think I'm just going to go for a jog and because it'll be fun. Or would they just slowly walk all day looking to try and find something to stay alive and well, right? Doesn't make sense because the energy expenditures from that type of exercise aren't going to be good for us. But also what's happening? It's actually going to promote hyperinsulinemia. That's a big word. It basically means your body's going to produce more insulin. Insulin is a hormone that actually takes sugar that we're eating, whether it is from a candy bar or a slice of bread. It takes these things and brings that sugar into your cells so you can use it for energy and everything else, okay? But insulin is really not a good hormone because here's what insulin does. Insulin is what's referred to as a mitogenic hormone. It's a hormone that actually causes your cells to divide more rapidly, okay? That would be essentially why we age. As we age, what's happening is we start off with a brand new copy, okay, a piece of paper, and now every time we get a little bit older and you make a new cell, it makes a copy, and a copy, and a copy, and all of a sudden, 20, 30 years goes down the road and you've been making copies. Is that copy down the road going to look as good as the original? No. Probably a little grainy, it's got some black dots and things on it. Just doesn't look quite as good. Well, basically what happens is insulin causes your cells to divide more rapidly. So we're having more cell divisions. You're actually aging faster. Long periods of cardio exercise is actually causing insulin to go up, causing your cells to divide more rapidly, and causing your body to actually have oxidative damage, stress, 10 to 20%, or 10 to 20 times, excuse me. That's what causes cancer. Oxidative damage. Your cells aren't going to be able to repair simply because of how we're moving. Cortisol goes up. Your body is suddenly saying this is actually starting to become stressful from a long period of exercise. When it happens, you're more susceptible to infection because your immune system's going down, and chronic inflammation. Who here feels like your joints are just inflamed? Yeah, chronic pain. Why? I don't care. I feel like I'm a healthy person. I just hurt all the time. How we exercise can actually increase inflammation in our bodies. Now, here's an amazing thing. We all thought we had to exercise for our heart, right? Cardio for our heart. Research on men who had run over 100 marathons. Okay? That sounds like mind-boggling to me, right? I can't imagine running one marathon, but 100 marathons. Men in their 50s run over 100 marathons. They took the similar group of men who had never run a marathon, in fact, really didn't exercise hardly at all. And guess what? They found that the guys that didn't exercise really that much actually had healthier hearts than the guys who had run over 100 marathons. Because those marathon runners had actually caused scarring of their heart, hypertrophy of the muscle. They basically developed scar tissue around their heart because it was exercised so intensely for such long periods, causing their heart to break down. Doesn't sound like a great idea, right? Maybe that cardio might not be good. And on top of that, I don't know about any of you, but if I go for a jog, your ankles and knees and things like that, because every time, if we were sprinting and running away from a tiger, you'd be running on the balls of your feet. But no, we're going for a jog, we're out there loping along, coming down on your heels, 6 times your body weight. I weigh about 200 pounds. Every time I come down, 1,200 pounds of force is coming through my joints. Now I know when my joints hurt when I go for a run because of all that extra body. So, once again, not that great, and once again accelerates aging. Just a couple of anecdotal information about some marathon runners. Greet Waits, she was Norway's former marathon record holder. Guess what? World record holder. She died at 57 from cancer. Cancer is an immune system problem. You'd expect she'd be like one of the healthiest people. World record holder in the marathon. Jim Fix, marathon runner, Runner's World. He's from that cover of Runner's World magazine back in the 70s. They oftentimes refer to him as the father of modern running. He died at the age of 52 of a heart attack after his daily 6-mile run. Most of his coronary arteries were clogged. So, once again, so here's really the reason why we look at this. Why cardio isn't truly helping your heart. We actually have 3 different types of muscle fibers, okay, that we need to actually activate. The first one is a slow twitch muscle. We also have fast twitch and then super fast twitch. That sounds awesome, super fast twitch. Okay? So when slow twitch muscles are exercised through long periods of running, okay? But you're not activating the fast and the super fast twitch through cardio, traditional cardio, okay? The only way that you're going to do that is through actually high intensity, okay, types of exercises. And these high intensity exercises are actually basically kind of without oxygen. They're called anaerobic. You're going to stimulate human growth hormone as a result of this. It doesn't have to be a long period, which is really cool. But by going through a super high intensity, even for a short time, now you're actually activating the fast and the super fast twitch muscle fibers that your heart actually needs to truly get exercise. Going for a long jog is not hitting that type of muscle fiber, you're just getting the slow twitch, okay? So, just getting down to the physiological understanding. I'm not just saying don't run because I don't like to run. No, I'm saying there's a reason why, and it has to do with how it's actually making your heart muscle work, okay? On top of this, okay, when we look at this, is that traditional cardio, even just strength training by itself, if you were to say, I lift weights, that's good, but you're still only getting the slow twitch muscles. We're not getting the fast twitch and the super fast twitch as well. And so we're going to teach you how to do that, but the main reason is your heart, in order to get exercise the way it needs to truly get cardio, you need both aerobic exercise, which is the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic exercise without oxygen. And high-intensity exercise, that I'll be describing in a little bit, is the only way, by combining those things together, to truly give your heart the exercise it needs. And, for those who like to go burn calories, there's truly the only way that you can burn 800 calories. Alright? Alright. So what should we be doing? High-intensity interval training. Now, some of you have heard of that before. I'll describe a little bit what that looks like, okay? I'm going to show you some examples. My goal is for you to find something that resonates with you. There might be one that's Some of you might say, that sounds amazing, and I can do that. Some of you are like, that might not be me. But I'm going to give you some examples of different options that you could do so that it'll be working for you in a way that make it fun, feasible with your schedule, make it enjoyable, okay? And I'll talk about some of these. Max T3, Peak Fitness, and Body by Science, which is going to blow your mind. All right. Some examples. Body weight exercises. You have the gym right here with you tonight. All right? No gym required. Your body can be the high intensity interval training. A simple thing, and you can do this, if you go to YouTube sometime, and if you type in HIIT, you are going to get a million different exercises, workouts you could do, free, online, most of them using your own body weight of exercise, okay? As an example, when I say body weight, what do you think? What do you mean? Could you squat? As fast as you can, okay? And wait for like 20 or 30 seconds. Some of you are like, I wish I could squat. You gotta work up to that, okay? Because that's a very good gauge of your health and fitness and flexibility. That would be a body weight, a push-up, okay? Different types of leg exercises, lunges, and reverse lunges, and so forth. Weight training. You can do the high intensity interval training with weight training as well. CJ, I see someone. Would you grab some clipboards? If some people are writing, it's not easy for them. Grab some for them. Weight training can be high intensity interval training. A lot of times when I go to the gym, that's what I'm doing. You know what? I can't think of the last time probably one of my workouts was more than 15 minutes. 15 minutes. That's doable, right? Sprinting. Oh, we're going to talk about sprinting. Some of you, that makes you a little bit nervous. Going, oh, I haven't sprinted in 30 years. There's ways you can sprint, and it's going to help. And we'll talk about balance and even rest and recovery, okay? Because in order to build our bodies up, we need a chance to recover. All right, so here's some of the examples. What really is why Ascension's high-intensity interval training is so effective and why it's so important, okay? According to the research, and here's amazing stuff, 12 weeks of high-intensity training, reduction in abdominal fat. You know, you see typically, be honest, it's guys, right? You look at their smuggling a basketball around. That's that deep abdominal visceral fat. It's the worst kind out there because it's around the organs. Not just the soft, gooey stuff, okay? But if it's tight, once they get bounce a quarter off them, their organs are covered by visceral fat. It's the most damaging and unhealthy type, okay? 12-week study showed that they can reduce abdominal fat in just 12 weeks, increase fat-free mass, and your overall muscle power by doing this. And that was from the Journal of Obesity. Journal of Cell Metabolism. This is amazing stuff. You can actually change your cell DNA through high-intensity interval training. But I thought I was born with bad genes. There's nothing I can do. How you move can actually change how your genes are actually expressed. You can actually change what you were given in the gene pool by how we move. That's pretty amazing, okay? And some of this amazingly happens almost immediately, stimulating your body to produce little enzymes that go in and bust up fat, okay? Another study, lactic acid. Feel good, we get a little bit sore after we work out. Okay, that's lactic acid. We need to get a little bit sore to actually stimulate our body to release human growth hormone. The youth hormone, actually, you have to release lactic acid, and that stimulates human growth hormone. So your exercise needs to be intense enough. How many of you get really sore after just going for a little leisurely walk? Probably not, okay? Well, we'll get there. So, we got to exercise differently, and that's, once again, what we're looking at. So, high-intensity interval training is going to make you more sensitive to insulin, so you don't have to produce as much. Pancreas, diabetes, people with overproduction of insulin because of our diets and how we've been moving. It's going to help balance out your cholesterol ratios, boost your fat metabolism, and help you actually store glycogen, which is basically energy in your liver and in your muscle. So that way you don't have to be eating lots of stuff. You've got that stored in your muscle cells when you need it. And ideally, main thing is here, when we're following a low processed, low glycemic food, so not eating a lot of sugar. We'll talk about those in a little bit. How would you like to, and you don't have to raise your hand, but we at least know people in our families that have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. Those things can be eliminated by how we move. They can be eliminated. And we're going to basically be targeting, good news, both the aerobic and anaerobic pathways. So you're going to be able to get cardio by doing your high-intensity interval training. As we talked about earlier, not getting up the other types and boosting human growth hormone. So, before we do these things, we should probably spend a few minutes just warming up. Now, we don't need to spend an hour stretching out, okay? Some people like thinking, oh, I don't have time to, I don't have time to even stretch. Well, we don't need to really spend much time doing that at all. Spending just a few minutes, probably 3 minutes of warming up. It could just be walking briskly, okay? A lot of times when I go to the gym, I hop on the rowing machine for like 2 minutes. And then I'll go into using the foam roller, which is basically a really dense cylinder that you can roll in your spine, your legs to get the blood flowing, to help get you loosened up. And then we're going to go through some stretching. You can actually, oh, there you go, thank you, CJ. CJ's holding the foam roller once again. There it is. Good, great. Stretching by just like holding, oh, I'm going to stretch. Here's what the research says on stretching. 20 seconds of static stretching actually makes your muscles 6% weaker. Weaker. 30 seconds, 12% weaker. Because you stretch out the muscle, you elongate it, you actually make it more vulnerable. So now when you go work out, you're more likely to get injured. Sounds a little counterintuitive. So what do we do instead? Instead of just long periods of stretching, what is referred to as active, isolate stretching. You're moving, you're stretching in your movement, and you're only doing it for a couple seconds. Here's an example. You might be just kind of going through and just doing a lunge, a couple seconds, and then going on. You're moving, you're stretching, okay? Then you're kind of coming, and then you're going to go maybe do a lunge, okay? A couple seconds is all you need to do to get, once the blood's flowing, just some stretches to get those things going. A couple seconds is all you have to be doing, okay? Not long, 30 seconds. Oh, geez, it's taking me 45 minutes to stretch out all the muscles in my body. But if you're moving as you do this, only for a couple seconds, once you're warm, is all you need to be doing, okay? And not getting you injured. Try and move as many directions. Just running, you're really kind of just going in one plane. Try and going, as you can see, I'm kind of going in different directions to try and hit all those different joints. And then cool down. Going for a walk. Then it'll be a good time to do a little stretching again at the end, but just cool down properly, all right? So, a great way to cool down, and I love this, is a grok squat. Our hunters and gatherers, caveman, grok. Once again, this is my youngest. If you ask a child to pick something up, do they just like bend over and like, oh my back, oh my goodness, I bent to pick up a pencil and they can't get up? No, you ask a kid to pick up something, what do? They squat down. That's normal. That's what we used to do back in the day, right? We've lost that. So if we don't do it, use it or lose it. But it's a great way to cool down. So if you see me say grok squat, there's grok squat, okay? All right, so here's some examples. Peak fitness. Some of you say, you know what, I've got an elliptical. That's what I've got. I have a gym membership, I've got an elliptical machine at home. Great. This is going to be maybe an awesome workout for you. Peak fitness is one example of a way you could exercise in a high-intensity interval training type way. It'll engage human growth hormone, decrease cortisol. And here's what it looks like. Let's say you're on an elliptical machine. You've been going for a few minutes just to get the blood flow and get warmed up. Okay? You're loose, you're good? For 30 seconds, you're going to go as hard as you possibly can on the elliptical. Okay? And we're not just talking like, we're going all up. You can hardly catch your breath for 30 seconds. Okay? Then